Today I'm going to work on my Kawasaki prarie. It's blowing smoke out the back end, so about time for a rebuild. Take the gas cap off, take the bolts out here, bolts out there, and then that'll come out. Already got the seat off. Turn the gas off over here. See how this tank's hooked up here. That one's definitely leaking gas. Get a gas can and dump all this out. Coming out the gas cap right now. So we need to get the head and everything off of here. Got a bracket right here, holds the mounting deal for the head, so we'll pop these off. They look like 12 millimeters. Got one clamp here for the carb, another one right here. There's a 10 millimeter for the throttle cable here. We'll need to take this off. That's actually decompression for the exhaust valve. 10 millimeters exhaust bolts down right in there, probably 10 millimeters. And to get that off, more than likely you're going to need to pull. There's a bolt here and a bolt there off too, so you'll need to pull them off.
There, also got my main fuel line and my carb. You can see it in there. So I'll have to get that crank off. This just goes down there, so you don't have to take this one off on there. Phillips head on there. I do like this screwdriver, you flip it around. Really nice. Don't lose this screw. Some of these got a seal around them, this particular one don't. The parts deal, we'll loosen this up, and we can take this cable off over here. Needle nose pliers would be good right now. Okay, got it on. Got 12 millimeter. It's in a tight spot. Most of the time, all you gotta do is break these loose and they'll start coming right off. Is that a 12? Hitting the other side of the carburetor is part of the problem. Alright.
Watch these things, boy, you can lose them real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and, that's on there pretty good. Even though we're gonna be taking that all off, it's just a good habit for me. I'm gonna get a 12 on this side. Now, if you've never done this, able to get the decompression deal off, spark plug wire. We are ready to, we need to check pull the timing. The exhaust will be out of the way. Probably we'll go ahead and pull this. It goes up to there and somewhere else. Mounting spots does it have? It only works with an 8 friction. Holy smokes. That stuff should not be on there like that. That's it. We can get her off. about how long those are. I've never done this before. It's going through a zip tie right there. Just couldn't get the braid off. Going on now. Just make sure you have that one loose, and then you can pull your other ones off. I'm gonna get the impact. These bolts on here are a little longer, so obviously you need a good bite. Okay, so after a long time I couldn't get that off and it got real bad, so I ended up having to drill it. I tried to use heat and everything else, so I used a bunch of duct tape, taped all that off, and was able to pop my head off of that. I think that bolt come loose, so I'm gonna get all this cleaned up, pull this off so it don't go down in the motor. Alright, I've got a few bolts here to loosen up for the side of the head. A couple of 10mm. I would think these should have washers over them, but not 100% sure. Ooh, that's close. Get that one out. Alright, got the muffler loose. Alright, cut the head off. Didn't lose the timing chain. Valves look like they've been burning a lot of oil. They're going to need to be seated too, so come straight through when I pull this out. They don't look real bad. Okay. And hone it out. So normally for a good judgment about the size of your fingernail is good, so it ain't 100% even in there, but that's gonna be the problem. And you can see on the sides of the piston where the blow by was, and I think the oil ring is actually collapsed. So that last ring there, yeah, it's gone. It's not doing anything. It's stuck. Okay, so I still got my bolt stuck in there. I was hoping it was going to come out after the pressure was relieved, but it's not going to. So I've got a few different kinds of extractors. I'm going to go ahead and try and use this one first. I'm going to have to drill just a little small hole in here, and I taped all that off so I didn't get any metal in there, which I can go back and drop it in the vat and wash it off anyway. But we're really hoping that, and this way I got pressure against my valve. Really hoping it'll catch. Just pop loose, go down, and eventually grab that bolt and pull it on out of there. Alright, so I got the valve covers off. I had to get the decompression mechanism off, which is sitting over here, and we'll make sure that we also, when we do that, this valve cover cap has that little bracket that holds the cable to the decompression. Should be able to take our rocker arms out, hopefully. Maybe. Usually your keepers will pop out pretty easily. There's one. Here's the other. Okay. So, pull all this good stuff out. Apparently he's got 2 rings. Got a nice shiny seat on it.
There's that. Normally on there too, on the seat there's going to be a little thin washer type O-ring. So it's a little crustier for obvious reason. Make sure you get that right in the middle of your valve. Goofball came by my shop one day with this kit, and I bought it for like 20 bucks. Valve spring compressor, it was still in the package. What was funny is he charged me for this, and then he wanted me to do free work. I said, man, had you just give it to me, probably would have done you some good free work. But don't do just free work. I got grandkids to feed. And of course that was when I had my shop. Which I don't anymore. Let's see what that one looks like. That one's hurting. Got it's not in real bad shape, but boy, you can sure tell it was leaking oil. I'm gonna leave the intake alone because it looks like it's seated really well, but we're gonna do this exhaust valve, set it, and then I'm gonna do valve seals in both of them. So valve stem seals. Alright, I don't know if you can really see it, but I've got fuel line hooked to the top of my valve because I don't have anything to reach down there. And I can run this drill, and it's going to turn my valve. I just put a little pressure here, and it's going to feed my valve for me. I can pull back, and that'll put pressure on it. And actually, from the G-force, it's pulling that valve towards me. See what she looks like. Small piece of paper. A little more. Check it out. See what it looks like. You gotta be careful. You don't want to get valve grinding compound up in your guide. That's looking pretty good there. I think honestly, after we clean the valve up with my little Dremel and get the carbon off, that's gonna seat up real good. So, hi, Hunter. This looks pretty sweet. So, that'll work. All right. Make sure your stem's good and clean. I'm just gonna put a little drop of lube there. I need some 4-stroke oil, but make sure take the other one. Put it on in there. And they just pop on. You can press down with your thumb, make sure it's all in there. I still got my one metal washer on there. I actually forgot. Triple check. And crank her on down. When you're dropping these in, the best way to do it is try and have your valve stem straight up and down, so if it does fall. Alright. Now, I've got one seated and the other one's further down, so if I go real slow and keep that spring pushed up towards the top, the other one should just slide right down. Theoretically. Just take our time. See that? I want to make sure. I think this one was the one with the hard rocker to get in. So do I need to put that in first? Yes, it will. Find that sweet spot. May have to find something to tap her in with. Softly. Before you hit it too hard though, make sure you got that rocker in the right. I'm going to go until it feels kind of tight and make sure I'm not on my cam lobe. So my cam's spinning, I'm free there. Snug right there. Can't really move it. So I want to back it off and put the wrong rocker in. Both of them take it. Make sure you take out your retainer screw with your washer. And this goes back behind here. You got a spring, goes. Make sure you get your spring back behind there. You know that's working. 8mm socket. So our next part is to throw that on the ground. Those are probably our extra bolts we messed with. One of our old seals on the ground. We need to start cleaning this cylinder up. I just had a brand new razor blade sitting here. What to do with it? Apparently I didn't need it. We're going to get a razor blade to clean all this up. In there's a little bit of oil in that very bottom part that it ain't dry. I like to use little bungee straps. I can put them through my timing chain guide. Helps me to do all this by myself. And then I can just strap them back down and carry on about my business. This has actually got a beveled cylinder, but I can usually just compress these on with my finger, and sometimes if you just move the cylinder mid side to side, it'll go right on. Okay, when I first was putting that in, actually, and normally I never come across that, but my scraper ring, the middle deal, I don't know what ring you call this, but it was actually too wide. So I went and I actually took, and the other one's a lot smaller than this, but I had to take and just take off, like, it was probably about 1 millimeter. And luckily I have some really cool machining tools. I've actually got, they're basically like glass files, so I was able to go back and make it real smooth, but I couldn't get the bottom of the piston in. And I didn't want to break anything. And after I did that, I actually put it up next to this OEM original one too, and it was a lot bigger. I said again to make sure that I don't have any oil or anything down in there. And don't forget your guide chain. Then we'll do our head gasket. I'll take these wires I got here. And just run them up through my head. Best as possible. That should just pull my chain right up for me. So I don't have to worry about none of that. Being one-handed. Alright, so see if I can slip my gear in there relatively easy. And that's about top dead center right there. We're actually on top dead center. But if you look, I'm a little bit to the right of the top here, and my tensioner's right there. So when that pulls, it's gonna pull that gear clockwise, and I'm gonna be a tooth off. So I need to go one more tooth. Okay, so I got my timing hooked up. We've just set the carburetor in there. It's not bolted down. My hose clamp fell off somewhere. I'll have to find it. I got the exhaust hooked up, and before I go do a whole lot more, I want to make sure it runs. So we're going to shoot a little bit of brake cleaner down the intake. We'll just make sure that it's going to fire off. Come on. Guy needs a battery apparently. Okay, so it sounds like it's gonna run. Get the Prarie back together. He does need some good gas. That gas is pretty nasty. Seemed like I've seen one other issue with this thing. But anyway. Oh, come on. She will start smoking once it warms up.